to remind me that today before we leave we'll write down update that summary, because otherwise it will be a huge gap till next Saturday, right? So what was the first concept that we learned yesterday? Apart from its, what is a stock, meaning of stock. Then we talked about what is a stock market. Then if you only can look back, confirm, and then tell me also, that is fine. Okay. Stock markets in India, correct. So stock markets, here we discussed two types, right? One we discussed India and global level. The next one we discussed was why, all the whys, why does the market exist? Then uske baad again which, why invest in stock. So why does it exist? Why to invest? And then, correct, so that was a separate one. Then we talked about the participants in stock market. Participants in stock market. In participants in stock market we had varied points. If you remember, buyer, seller, then stockbroker, depository participant, clearinghouse, regulator, correct? All these concepts are there within this participants point, correct? Anything else that we discussed yesterday? Relevance of fixed deposits, importance of fixed deposits, correct? Is it very important to have fixed deposits in our portfolio? Absolutely yes. So you can just write down importance of FDs in our portfolio. Very nice. Then we talked about the concept of clearing and settlement. And in clearing and settlement, we discussed various points like what is T plus 25, then we talked about T plus 2, then we talked about T plus 1, correct? Is it where we stopped yesterday or no? Types of, so yesterday that was a cliffhanger, na? Just to end, because we did not discuss anything in detail about that. So we just, that's okay even if we don't write, because today, the first half, yesterday don't write this, but yesterday we said there are two types of market. One is a primary market and one is a secondary market. Today first session is what is the primary market, and second session is going to be what is the secondary market. Okay, so technically we just gave an introduction of such markets exist yesterday. So it's okay even if you don't write this. So with this basic thing, let us start with primary markets. Okay. Very nice. This transition was not there. So all those who are seeing the lecture in the recording, I forgot to switch on the screen, but it's okay. Anyways, I was dictating, na? So those who I forgot to switch the screen on. So that is okay. Happens. Every time it happens with me. But anyways, I was dictating along with writing, right? So do the needful. Okay. Anyways, so let's move on. Today we're going to start with what is a primary market. So first, like we discussed yesterday, first we'll try to give an example at full length, and then we'll discuss what is there in our notes. Okay. So now let's take an example that I have started my own entity. This is a real example that I have my own entity, right? So I am having one startup. Correct? So you can call it as Rachana, Ranade, and Associates. Okay. So is it necessary that I start my organization directly with a company only? No. So if you have taken commerce in your graduation field, then there are different types of organizations. Like one can start with a sole proprietary concept. I'm the only person. Okay. Or it could be a partnership firm. More than one people entering together will be a partnership firm. Okay. Now more than two people. Let us say there are 30 people who are coming together to start a venture. Can there still be a partnership firm? Then there can be some confusion. So more than 300 people, we are now going larger in scale. Still partnership firm? No. So in such a scenario, when number of people increases, then generally we have to convert it into a form of a corporate entity. And corporate entity is nothing but what? A company. Okay, clear? Yes. Achha, but is it necessary that I have to go through this route, that first sole proprietor, then partnership, then company, or can I directly start a private limited company? Directly also I can start a private limited company. Is this fine? In fact, many newbies who want to start their own venture, they always believe that I'm going to start a private limited company directly. I believe that's a wrong decision. Why? I will tell you. Because the moment you're talking about making your own company, there are a lot of regulations which are involved. You will mandatorily have to appoint an auditor. You'll say, there's no turnover also. I've not even started selling products. So what? You have a company? Yes, story over. You have to appoint an auditor. So there are certain laws, certain sections which talk about when is audit mandatory. As per Companies Act, audit is mandatory the moment you form a company. Irrespective of what is your profit, what is your turnover, no consideration for that. You have to appoint directors. You have to give the details of the directors to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Register of Companies. Lot of headaches are involved. So if you are really a small organization, I feel the better idea is to go ahead with either through a sole proprietor or a partnership firm, where rules and regulations are comparatively less. You can focus on your own main business. Otherwise, headache is just filing whether it has been done or not. What is the auditor saying? What are the points? That is a bigger headache. Correct? To be honest, even today I don't have my own company. LLP, ke liye there is a turnover criteria. Okay, if it crosses, so it's not only a turnover criteria, there is one more criteria. Any out of these two also is satisfied, you have to do the audit. Okay, one person company also there is a criteria. But for partnership firm also there is a criteria, no doubt about that. But it's comparatively, less stringent. Okay, so that is why everyone knows his or her own business. Accordingly, you can take a decision. Okay, but as a kickstart, I believe that starting directly with private limited can be avoided. Okay, finally you can take the consultation from a chartered accountant, but that is what my experience tells me, right? So assume that I start with a partnership firm, Rachana, Ranade and Associates. Maybe 2-3 years down the line, I believe that instead of going only into education, now I need to start my edtech company. These days very fancy word, na? Fintech, edtech, anything tech. Okay, so if that be so, I believe that, okay, now it's time to move on and I need to establish my own company. Okay, now, okay, agreed. If you all believe, now you have to tell me possible or not. Whatever money I need for this establishment of this company, possibility number one, I empty my pockets, okay, and I put in the company. Possible? Yes, but he's saying for me it is possible. Okay, still pockets will not be empty is what he's saying. Okay, chalo, so with whatever money I have, I form a company. This typical phase is called as bootstrapping. Have you heard about this name? Bootstrapping. So many a time, correct, Nitin Kamath ke liye ye word use kiya jata hai. He has bootstrapped his company. Fancy word, a lot of fancy words coming in these days. So what do we mean by bootstrapping? Putting out our own money to start the company. Achha, is it necessary 100% it has to come up from me? Not necessary. It can come from a very close friend circle or a close relative circle, something like that. But not officially going to the bankers or issuing debentures and raising money. Not through that route. Okay, myself, friends or close groups. That will be what? Bootstrapping process. Okay, so what will I do? Bootstrapping. Okay, now this edtech has started with this basic capital of me, my friends, my relatives, basic startup done. Now people believe that Rachna, your operations are still only in India. You should go abroad. And why only edtech? It should be end to end, right from teaching till investing. Idea है मुझे अभी. Okay. Okay. So right from educating till investing till portfolio management, assume everything under the roof, everything under one roof. Okay. In that case, I'll have to increase this from edtech to fintech to maybe portfolio management tech. So PM tech ऐसे कुछ तो एक नया word form कर लेते हैं. Portfolio management in technology whatever. A to Z tech क्या बात है? A to Z tech. Amazon को भी कर लेते हैं. A to Z tech. So this is what I want to do now. अच्छा again understand. Bootstrapping process is over. Now again I go to my family and friends. पैसा दे दो ना. हाँ. So what will they say? चला. Now no one will entertain me. They say we will go on at any level. Okay. Now can I request some big investors to come into my organization and give me more and more money? Yes. So typically, when if it is a start of an idea, starting of a new idea. See, originally I just want bootstrapping was only for increasing education and to some extent edtech. But this A to Z tech, the new thing that we have come up right now, is this a completely fresh idea that I'm going into? Earlier it was only what? Everyone answer earlier. It was only education. Now it is everything under one roof. So is it a new idea? Is it successfully proven by me? No, I'm venturing into something new. Okay. So typically I will need seed capital at this stage. What is this called? Seed capital. Can I say the name itself is self-explanatory? You're sowing the seed for a new tree of money. Right? So whenever we are venturing into something new, the idea is still there, but it has not grown to its fullest extent. We call that as what we call that as seed capital. Okay. And who can put money? Will it be my close family friends or will it be investors who are going to put money? Investors who are going to put money. Okay. So here investors are going to put money. Now the idea has originated. Okay. I've started working on it. Now slowly, steadily, I want to go on increasing it to newer and newer levels. From a very small venture, now you can imagine like a tree is growing. From a very small plant to a bush to a tree now. So in this case also, will I keep on requiring more and more funding? See, originally you can imagine when I started my own startup, there was only one person in the organization. Director, so I cannot call myself owner of the company, top level management, middle level management, lower level management, chai wali, third wali, all in one. Okay, but slowly as and how we progressed from one person, then one of my friends joined. She said I can work only for 2 hours now. I said I have only that much work to give. And then slowly, steadily from that 1 person to 10, we are almost a team of 20 now. But if we were to go to a fintech and A to Z tech, do you think only 20 people are going to suffice? From 20 we might be requiring to go to 50, to 100, to 200 maybe. In that case, my salary expenses will increase, my infrastructure expenses will increase. All is going to go to the next level, right? So will I need more and more funding? Yes, and this will be typically called as what? Venture capital funding or venture capital is required. Can I say this is absolutely new idea where venture capital funding comes in, or the idea has been established? This one is for growth. Everyone, this is for growth. Okay. So now you can imagine. So see the phases of our business is growing. We all see that this company got listed on the stock exchange, and first thing we see promoter को कितना पैसा मिल गया, अब तो माला माल हो गए. Investors got an exit, and people like me and you, we invested in that IPO, but there is a long journey behind it. Okay. So I hope you are understanding the first four processes without looking at the body. If you can tell me, first we started with a startup, then bootstrapping. Okay, then seed capital was required, and then venture capital. Okay. Now could there be multiple rounds of funding here? Yes. So typically they call it as seed funding, or it could be venture capital round 1, round A, round B, round C is what they call. And these days there is one word which is very famous among startups. We are a unicorn. Very famous for these days. Anyone and everyone is a unicorn. Okay. Of course. So that's not easy task to achieve, but maybe just I can't imagine. Maybe 6-7 years ago I had not even heard that terminology. Do you agree with me? Maybe just 6-7 years ago, no concept of unicorn, and all of us this is a unicorn, that is a unicorn. That is the level of boom of startups that we are seeing in India right now. Correct? So after venture capital funding, so what did we say? This is for mainly birth phase or growth phase? Seed capital for birth phase, and venture capital generally for what? Growth phase. So now this is done. Still the company has much more dreams. They have to grow big, maybe venture into a few more smaller areas and all that. And then they believe that now rather than money, we are interested more in publicity. We have comparatively sufficient capital, but we are not yet recognized by a lot of individuals. We are not recognized by many more investors. So just to get recognition also, can a company come up with an IPO? Yes, because see, whenever a company comes up with an IPO, can I say people will say listed? That itself is a different status. So whenever I met few people amongst the space, owners of the company, you might have seen that many a times owner of the company, MD, CEO, they come on our channel, YouTube channel, and I interview them. So there is this amazing level of satisfaction on their face that now my company is going to be a listed company. Because they have seen this entire journey, right? It's not an easy journey. So that is surely a moment of satisfaction. So next step, as I mentioned, once the growth phase is also to a decent enough level, what can they go ahead with? They can go ahead with an IPO. So like I mentioned, see from startup, this was a partnership firm. In between, what might have happened in this entire process? Would it have remained a partnership firm? Yesterday I told you, from partnership firm they have to get converted into public limited. Can a partnership firm first be converted into private and then to public, direct, whatever? Yes. Ultimate task, let us say first converted into private, then converted into public limited. They have to get converted into public limited so that they can come up with an IPO. We had also done that concept yesterday, if you remember. All listed companies have to be public limited companies, but all public limited companies need not be listed on the exchange. Correct? So I hope you understood the entire process of IPO. Achha, one example that I gave that company wants to come up with an IPO is example is of visibility. They want to be more famous. Could there be any other reason why a company comes up with an IPO? Only visibility. Would they want more and more funds for their organization? Yes. Achha, funds for whom? For the company. Okay. Any other reason? Debt repayment. I'll come to a point. It could be debt repayment. So if I mix your points, I wanted that clarification. Original promoter wants an exit to some extent, not selling off all the shares maybe, but wants a little bit of exit. So this is called as OFS, offer for sale. Instead of, because I don't want to use the term here, but promoter needs generally not a full exit, but at least a partial exit. Needs a partial exit. So by the way, who is the promoter? Founder of the company. Okay, owner of the company. Original person who founded the company. But there is no definition of promoter as such. Okay, there are a lot of debates, heated debates going on. Such an important concept, promoter, and you have not even defined it properly. So still debates are going on. We may get a definition of promoter hopefully in this year. Okay. So is this line of how a company starts to bootstrap to venture capital to IPO? Basic points are clear? Yes, please. Venture capital is basically when you want to grow to a next level. So for example, as I mentioned, I had this idea of A to Z tech, but just having that idea, just doing an initial setup. For the initial setup, I required only 20 people. Now I want to grow to the next phase. Right now I have office only in Pune. I want to open an office in Delhi, in Kolkata, in Bangalore, in Dubai. Why I think only about India? Example, New York, Manhattan specifically. Yes, so that is the reason why if you want to grow to a next level, you need more funds. That is more of venture capital for the growth phase. So it's not only about opening offices. Once you open offices, you need that much infrastructure, you need those many employees, you need to pay them. Huge cost is involved. Okay. No, venture capital is generally again investors only. I will give you a real life example also. Shark Tank possible. Absolutely it is possible. Otherwise, I'm going to give you your favorite Zomato example also. Not really. Mindful as in? See, there will be certain regulations, but finally, because it is not listed, it's not going to be SEBI who is going to be regulating. Okay, SEBI is very strict. Other than SEBI, okay types. Are there many startups who will take funding, who will burn the cash, and will go bust? Possible. These days, a lot of people come to me that we want you to invest in our startup. Till date, I've invested only in one startup. But many startups still are in pipeline. Please invest in our startup. Is that what is the big risk? I'll put my hard-earned money, and can that startup close in the next 4 to 5 years? 100% yes. It is said that out of 100, only 5 to 10%, 5 to 10 is actually. 2 to 3 will be much realistic. Barely 2 to 3% will succeed. Baki everyone is going to not bogus as such. They will not be good at execution. Okay, implementation that is going to be a big catch. They'll remain on the same base. They'll not be able to grow. So I always say this. I told this to someone yesterday also. That ideas are no one's monopoly. It's all about execution, and that is where mainly people fail. So because why I'm telling this in the class, I'll tell you. These days, many platforms are coming up where you can invest in unlisted shares. Many people are like, I want to invest in Chennai Super Kings. I want to invest in HDP. I want to invest in NSE. You remember yesterday we told that NSE is not yet listed on the stock exchange. These days there are a lot of platforms which are coming up. I also have come across certain platforms wherein you can go ahead somewhere in this venture capital round also. Startup investing. There are platforms which are coming up. Many people ask me. One of my friends was asking me the other day, shall I invest in this startup? I said, you can, no problem. But you should have money to invest in 100 startups. If your answer is yes, please go ahead. Because be sure that 97 are going to fail, 2 or 3 will pass, and ideally those 2 or 3 should recover the entire money. Ideally should become unicorn. Okay, so this is a basic thumb rule for anyone sitting in this class right now. When are you going to invest in startups? Only when you have money to put in 100 startups. Okay. See, am I discouraging you without any reason? Answer is no. Don't take unnecessary risks. You are earning your money in a very hard manner, right? It's not like I say, born with a silver spoon, I say, that's not the scenario. So we have to be very mindful while investing in startups. Absolutely, you have to take that much calculated risk. Is this fair enough? Yes, so you got answer. So it's not necessary that the promoter has to be mindful. He can just splurge the money, he's not accountable. In bootstrapping, I am investing my own money or close family members or friends. In seed capital, other investors will come. So for that there is something known as a project report. So what is a project report? Where you have to show your projections. That ideally in the next 5 years my company will make this much revenue. If you have seen in Shark Tank, ideally this much will be my sales in the next 5 years, profits in the next 5 years. Then investors are going to say, what is the valuation of your company? We want typically same Shark Tank only again. For 1% we'll give this much, for 5% we'll give this much, and there will be proper bargaining. Who is going to have an upper hand? Investors, because you are the one who need money. So investors are going to be like, so that is what is going to happen in this entire process. Okay. Shall we move on? Fantastic. So with this, I want you all to open your notes, and in that I have given a practical example of how the life cycle of a company processes or progresses. Correct? So now I think this will be very easy for you. Now we have to go on a little bit fast track because the explanation part is over. Everyone tell me pre-seed funding can be more of bootstrapping. Kind of bootstrapping, correct? Because it's only me, my families, my friends, all these together. Pre-seed funding. Then seed funding. We also know about this. Series A, Series B, what is this? Venture capital funding, different rounds. Is it necessary that there can be only 3 rounds? Could there be multiple rounds? Yes. Can it go to Series Z funding also? Yes. Why not? Okay, so that is how finally, what is the last step? IPO. Is it necessary that every company will go through this and then only IPO? Could there be direct bootstrapping and IPO? Nika Sacha, I think someone had given the example at the very beginning when I said startup, bootstrapping. Zero. They can directly come up with this IPO, pre-seed, IPO, khatam, cross. If the company is profitable from the start, why do I want investors? Correct? Because the moment investors are going to come in, they are going to dictate. They are going to ask for certain level of profit, certain percentage of profit. Why aren't you making profit this year? They are going to pressurize you constantly. So that is the reason why if you can. I always call this as a lean business model. Lean business model is what? Try to run your organization in minimum possible funds. With that, in the initial phases, you will not be required to take funding from anyone. You'll be able to do it by yourself. That is one of the good ways to start a business. People believe day one I should have a lavish office. Why is it required? If you are the only one who's going to sit in that, maybe 3 4 other people. Why is a lavish office required? I remember in my very first few days, in my house, 1 room was my office. And other team members who used to come, 3 4 team members, they used to sit on the sofa and work on the laptop. And only 1 employee was allowed every day. Others work from home. This is before Corona. Work from home. You'll be like, wow, what a progressive thinking. There was limitation of space. Okay, so is that also possible? Absolutely yes. Why not? But as the team size grows, this, that, then you need more coordination. थोड़ा बाद में देखना. First, try to go ahead with the lean business model. So is this point also absolutely clear? Now with this, let's go ahead with the example of Zomato. I think I have taken it in some. Yes, you can ask me the question. बार-बार कोई भी कंपनी मतलब सेम कंपनी बार-बार IPO निकल सकती है कैसे? Okay, now I'll give that. अच्छा, I'll take your question. She's asking, is it necessary that a company can come up with the IPO only once? Can the company come up with an IPO only once? Yes. What is the full form? Initial public offer, no? So it has to be only once, no doubt about it. Okay, but if I'm talking about और पैसा चाहिए, रुको ना पहले स्लाइड तो चालू होने दो. Visible on the screen, no? Okay, so IPO only once. Then we have a term called as FPO. What is FPO? Follow on public offer or a further public offer. Both words can be used. I'm repeating, either it will be a further public offer or a follow on public offer. Right? Yesterday, if you remember, we have discussed the example of LIC for the upcoming IPO. An upcoming FPO is of Ruchi Soya. Ruchi Soya? Patanjali. Baba Ramdev had invested in Ruchi Soya at almost earth cheap level. And from that, his investment has grown 6-7 times almost. Amazing rise we saw in Ruchi Soya. After that, it fell also to some extent. But anyways, Ruchi Soya is going to come up with what? Follow on public offer. So quickly tell me, is it already listed on the exchange? Yes, and that is why it is called as an FPO. If it is not listed on the exchange, it will come up with an IPO. Simple. Okay, I'll tell you. For FPO, for that I will tell you first about IPO only. In your notes, maybe I have given why IPO. Why do companies come up with an IPO? We are going to take your question in that, and same logic will be applied here for FPOs. So let me just complete this specific image, and then I'll go to your question. Okay. So first we can see this is an actual example of Zomato. Okay, what happened with Zomato? The very first one you can see seed round. Even if it is not visible, my underline is visible. Seed round, correct? Who had invested? Info Edge. Okay, then you can see Series A, Series B, C, D, E, la 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 la, Series I. No, Series J. Then they had corporate rounds in between. Then Series J also. So as I mentioned, can there be multiple series of fundings? How much money, how much stake was left with the promoter after so much of sale? Diluted so much that if I'm not mistaken, promoter stake went down below 5% also. We'll check the shareholding capital if you want, but it was that low. Okay, so many a times people say that if the promoter has more than 50%, we would love that situation. Otherwise, it will be held up under a professionally managed company. That is also not bad. It will be a different category. Have you heard about L&T? That is a classic example of professionally managed company. Because who are the promoters? Mr. Larson, Mr. Tubro. वो है नहीं अभी इस दुनिया में. Gone. So then, can they take it as a professionally managed company? Yes. Acha. Vis-a-vis, second example, Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. He's also not there. But who is still carrying the business? Family control. So one is a family run business and one is a professionally run business. Okay, which is beneficial depends upon what kind of decisions these people are making. A family run business can also make excellent decisions, and professionally run business can also do the same. So we can't judge a company based on whether family run or professionally run. Is this fair enough? Yes. And finally, after so many, who all have invested to see? Info Edge, Sequoia, Ant Group, Delivery Hero, Tiger Global, Cora. All these are big names. So all these people have invested in whom? Invested in Zomato. Okay, clear? Yes.